Just a little history. We started in 1985 as a hobby out of our garage. We raised about 400 of the ugliest pheasants I ever seen because I didn't pay attention to what people told me. I quit my day job. I worked at a bank. I quit my day job in 95. Last year we hatched about 620,000 birds, and we raised about 32,000. When you start out as a hobby, you don't know what's going to happen. We started out with a garage here, and there was an old house set over here. We used the old house for a hatchery for a little while when we were piddling around. We added on the first part. In 2003, we added on the big part of our hatchery. 2010, we added on again. 2011, we added a chick sorting room. And this is what our hatchery looks like today. My wife claims we're done adding on, so I don't know. Of course, like everybody, biosecurity starts at the front door. That's about all I'm going to say about biosecurity because there's been enough of that spoken about. But that's where we start. This is our breeder pens that are empty, of course, at this point in time. We do early light about 70% of our hens. I just got a text from the wife, said they started picking up eggs today, so the process begins. So. Of course, we all love Mother Nature. This was last year. We just got our hens sorted, wings clipped, got them put into the pens, and we had a big snow. Tore our nets down, so. Luckily, the hens were clipped. We didn't lose any. And then about a week later, we get a nice little hailstorm. You can see this hen right here. Looks like she got whacked pretty good. And there's one right over here. I don't even think you can see her, but she didn't make it. So again, Mother Nature is just one of those things we deal with. This is one of our breeder pens. You can see some of our nesting boxes here, our feeders. They're just ready to start laying eggs. And again, here's a little bit better picture of our nesting boxes. We just use 55-gallon barrels cut in half with a frame around them. We hay them, and of course, eventually the old hens get a little broody. Didn't seem to bother this kid very much. We use egg baskets. They just carry them around and pick them up. Whoop. We do use a wagon sometimes. We pull a wagon around so we don't have to carry so many baskets. That's kind of an overloaded deal. That's really not what it happens. But this particular farm is 7 miles away from where our hatchery is, so we just loaded the eggs in the pickup, getting ready to take them back to town. In our case, we're tracking 5 different flocks, so we use different colored baskets to track each particular flock. So that's kind of how we keep track of them until we get them back to the hatchery. This is our egg room. Of course, this is the eggs we've gathered, different colored baskets. This is our egg washing machine. This year we had hot water. We just used electric hot water heater. It went bad, so we put in a tankless hot water heater, which is probably one of the best things we've ever done. That allows us gives us all the hot water we need now. With a hot water heater, we just, you had 40 gallons, and that was it. So now we are able to, when our eggs are really dirty, we can spray them off here, pre-soak them, and then they go onto the egg machine. But the tankless hot water heater really was something we should have done a long time ago and didn't realize it. These are eggs coming off of the egg washer. We got 2 people putting them on. Taking them off the egg washer, putting them on the racks. What we do is obviously we see a lot of cracks when they're going through the egg washer. We don't get them all. Wish we could figure out a better system, but they sit in the egg room overnight on the racks. The people come in the next morning, and we're physically picking them up and looking at each egg, looking for cracks, and they get most of them, but it's a slow process, but we haven't figured out a better way at this point. Our chucker eggs and quail eggs we have shipped in, so this is just some of the people taking the chucker eggs out of the shipping boxes and putting them onto the racks. This is our egg cooler. When everything's done, of course, they go into the egg cooling like everybody else does, and we hold them. We just set eggs once a week, so we're holding our eggs at 58, 60 degrees, somewhere in there. Obviously, the night before, day before, we're bringing our eggs in or taking them out of the egg cooler, moving them into the egg or the incubator rooms to warm up, bringing them up to room temperature. And this is 6 of our 6 setters that are in this particular room. Just the nature form I-14s. We had an old Robins unit. This is a different room, but we had a Robins unit. We took it out last year and put in 3 more of the I-14s. So we have everything the same. It looks like it's going to be simpler for me to be able to just run one type of machine. This is, he's just getting ready to take the eggs out of the incubator, getting ready to move them into the transfer room. And this is, we just use the flipping table for the most part for when we're transferring eggs. Just completing the process. And of course, we just roll them into the hatcher. This is just a picture of hatch day when we were we actually were sorting chicks and everything else in our hatching room. The hatchers are right back here. As you can see, it gets a little crowded. So I persuaded the wife to let me add on a building. And this is just a 24 by 24 room where we start sorting the chicks. We set the room up before the hatch. We kind of stack our boxes up as per customer. We deliver about 90% of our chicks, or 95% of them probably. We deliver into about 11 different states, but we like to use the plastic boxes. There's some advantages and disadvantages, but that seems to work for us. This is just hatch day. They're not a very good picture, but they're starting to just count chicks into the boxes, chick boxes. Of course, like everybody else, we do a lot of sexing anymore. And in our case, the hatch baskets there. This is we color code this, so they're sorting the sex into the different boxes. And from there, they take them over to another table. He's probably counting roosters into this box. She's counting hens into there. We feed all of our people on hatch days. It keeps them there. It gives everybody a break. They still can talk to each other. We know where they are, so when we're done, we can get them rounded back up. So happens to be, I think it was his birthday, one of his birthdays, so we had a little birthday celebration too. So, of course, Grandma made me throw this in. We don't know if he's a future or not, but I hope he grows fast if he is. And we're back to sorting after lunch. This is my daughter-in-law. She's pretty nice. She thinks I'm probably goofing up here, but she's too nice to say anything. This is about the time of day they tell me to go do something else, go put gas in the vehicles or do something, because I'm probably a little stressed out by then. So, we do quite a few melanistic chicks. This is the melanistics, and just a tray full of quail chicks. This is just what a box looks like that's ready to be. It's filled up, ready to be. Start the delivery. To move our boxes around in the hatchery, we've got the little plastic pallets that we use, and we can stack the boxes on the pallet, and then we use the two-wheel cart to move them around. I said we deliver most all of our chicks. We like the Suburbans work pretty good. We've added a van. We've outgrown the Suburban, so we've added another van this year. So this is just kind of a picture of the exhaust fan. Of course, those chicks in there are going to create a lot of heat, so we need to figure out how to get rid of that heat. So we have an exhaust fan that we can run. We can bring fresh air in the front of the van, exhaust the stale air out the back, and it's worked out pretty good. Here we are arriving at L&L Game Farms to start to unload. Of course, after the hatch day, then it's wash-up time. This is kind of an old picture, but a couple of girls that used to work for us. This one's a doctor now, and this one is a nurse anesthetist. So we used to get good quality help. And of course, one of the disadvantages with the plastic bag, tray or chick boxes is you do have to wash them. Rather than putting cardboard boxes together, I guess we offset it by washing plastic boxes. And we have a machine that a guy built to help wash our chick boxes. It doesn't work real well, so we're still perfecting that. But this is part of our brooder room, or one of our brooder rooms. And this is just kind of the setup. We use attraction lights to obviously attract the chicks. We have the feed trough set up around. Of course, the waters with the activators. The stove. As you can see, it's fairly dark in there except for the attraction lights. And you'll notice we are using the grow gel that Jeff talked about. Here is a picture of we probably have just put these chicks in here. You can see the attraction lights is doing its job. Got them pulled away from the wall, closer to the heat, even though they are not right under the heat. And we do not use a ring. I know Jeff talked about using a ring to avoid draft. Most of our buildings, I guess, are tight enough that we don't get a draft, so we are not using a ring anymore. And we're not, and it seems to work out. This is the setup at L&L Game Farm. They do use the ring. They don't use the attraction lights. Obviously, there's the stove, the waters, the feeders, and it works for them. So that's. And this is just a picture of the chicks. You can see they go right to the grow gel almost immediately. It seems to be the first thing they find. So we were experimenting with using egg flats for the feed, and we found there's way too much waste, so we don't use those anymore. We use something else. So. And here's the peepering process, the way we do it. We start peepering 4.5, 5 weeks, whatever happens to be. Maybe I should talk about, in our brooder barns, we have an A room and a B room. Before it was the A room, we set up in the B room. In our B rooms, we just use, all we have in there is the water, a couple, maybe 1 or 2 placid waters to get them used to that. And we open it up at about 3 weeks, or depending on the weather. Of course, it is covered, but the front is open. So if the weather is too cold, we will run them back in as needed. If not, they just stay out and move back and forth between the rooms. But we set up our peepering here in the B room, and then we just have a door here, and as we peeper, she just throws it into the other room. So we have all the birds pushed up into the B room. And go back here a little bit. We just got half a bucket here with some net across it, and as he catches birds, he'll dump into the bucket, and then our people are just reaching in there to catch a bird. We have to train this person to be not to put too many birds in the net, not to put too many birds in the bucket. We find this to be less stressful for the chicks than some of the other ways we've tried, and it seems to work for us. So, and you know, just because this is the way we do it doesn't mean everybody should do it that way. You kind of have to learn your own, what works for you, and it works into your operation. So when we tell people, we don't have all the answers, but these are the things that work for us, and probably some of these things we've already changed for this year. So we're always changing. You come to meetings like this and hear them talk about all these things, and you go home and start thinking about it, and you change quite a bit of stuff, but it seems like. We use the one-piece peeper with the plastic in between, and we use snap ring. Most of our people use snap ring pliers to put them on. Some of our guys can still spread them by hand. We used to use the perfect peeper with the wire or the pin. We've found over the years that this peeper stays on just about as well, and it stays on when the chicks are in the brooder barn. And once we get to the flight pins, we aren't quite as concerned about the peepers. We probably only lose about 5 to 7% of them off anyway. So, and they're a lot easier to take off when we're ready to ship them. So, and again, we can typically one person can keep up with 2 peepers if they're doing their job. These 2 people happen to be married, and they were still married after they got done doing this. So that's a pretty good accomplishment. This is a picture of our flight pins, one of our flight pins. We use kochia weeds in our flight pin. We actually farm for the weeds. If you don't know what kochia weed is, if you've heard of the Kansas tumbleweeds, that's what this is. It comes up early in the spring, makes a pretty solid cover. So we actually go in early spring, farm these pins, pack them, and the weeds come pretty quickly. And this picture was taken about the 15th of May, so you can see they're coming on pretty fast. We go in and spray all of our fence lines just to keep the weeds out of the fence lines. And then we go in and mow everything before mow paths before we put the chicks in. These particular pins here are 75 foot wide by 600 foot long. So every year it seems like I leave more open space than I did the year before. We have found that this cover in here is so heavy, the birds can get in there when they need the protection, but I go up there a lot of times, or I go to the pins in the evenings or when it was wet, and these lanes would just be full of birds. So I've decided that they need more space, open space, than I was giving them. So it seems like every year we do more. We do mow croft paths in here too. And we use the bell waters for our water supply. We've got waters on both sides. All of our pins are not connected to our building, so we have to move some of our chicks physically from the brooder barn to the flight pins. We used to carry boxes in, carry boxes in, carry boxes in, carry them out, carry them in, carry them out. I'd go to the chiropractor the next day. We'd carry more boxes in. So we designed a bigger box that we can do. And this is actually the brooder room. The B side is over here. We've got all the chicks pushed over there, and we're pushing back over, start loading chicks into the boxes. You see, it gets a little dusty in there, but it goes pretty fast. And they are counting them as they put them in there, hopefully. And then we use the front end loader on the tractor to move the box out, so I don't have to go to the chiropractor. We drive the tractor into the pen. Of course, like I said, it's a 600-foot pen, so we'll start filling at the back, or start dumping chicks at the back. We have to physically, some of them push them out. Can't see this very good, but there's chicks coming out of the box there. And they start to scatter right away. We have some farms that are further away, so we just use the same boxes. We just load them on a trailer and drive them out there and either back into the pen or have a tractor at that pen to unload them. Of course, when you're done, you get to clean a brooder barn. Our brooder barns are not that big. This brooder barn here is 14 by 27. So 10 minutes, a couple of guys could have that cleaned out. So we throw all the waste into a manure spreader. Take it. We're right beside a farm, so we have lots of area to spread our wood chips, and the farmer likes it because it's free fertilizer. This is just a shot of our bulk bins. We have the big overhead bulk bin, holds 23 tons. All right, actually it holds more than that, but we bring the semis come in, unload the birds. We keep about 11,000 breeder hens, so this will last about a little over a month when we haul in 23 tons. So, very quick way to fill the feeder wagons. And we actually drive in our pens to feed. A lot of our grow pens, we use the smaller feeders. They are scattered down through the middle of the pen. We like them down through the middle of the pen for a couple of reasons. Birds can get to them from either side. And then if we do have bad weather, or when we have bad weather, ice, snow, whatever it might be that is going to take the pens down, we do have the feeders down through the middle of the pen to help hold the net up off of the birds and gives us a little room to get in there. And in our area, between the snowstorms and the ice storms, it's not a matter of if we're going to have a storm, it's a matter of when it's going to be. So we try to prepare for it a little bit. If we get a wet year, our weeds will grow really good, and they'll get too big, and they'll start to want to come through the top of the net. So we go in, hit the tops of them with a dose of 2,4-D, and as you can see, within a couple of days, it curls the tops up, but it doesn't kill the plant. We aren't doing it hitting them that heavy. It's not a perfect science, but it keeps most of them out of there. It at least gives us a chance to go in there and break those weeds off if we need to. This is just a picture of 12-week-old birds. I think they're about 12 weeks old. You can see they do like to roost on top of the nets. And again, it must have been either wet or something that morning, so a lot of them were standing around. So. And again, you can see the feeders up through the middle. When we get ready to move the birds out, haul them or whatever we're going to do with them, we do go in and mow all the weeds off and do all this stuff. And we actually can drive these birds up into the lanes, and then we actually when we load out, and I didn't get pictures of this, I don't think, but when we do load out, we are loading out of those brooder barns. We will drive our birds into the building, shut the lights off, have our boxes and everything already in there, and we load birds in the dark, basically. And we're basically doing it off our hands and knees, or else we'll have somebody by the box and we're throwing birds to them, and it's a pretty quick process. and we don't get beat up real bad. We still get beat up, but we did purchase some of the new 3T smaller boxes. I find I can carry smaller boxes a whole lot better than I can carry big boxes anymore. But again, we try to use the tractor and the loader as much as we can, and we can drive this right next to our trailer and load them right into the trailer. This trailer is just a bumper hitch trailer. We can load about 1,200 adult straight run birds in there. If we're going to the right place, we can use our other boxes. I don't like to go very far with them boxed like this. If it's the right place, we can actually back right in their pen, drop the doors, and run all the birds out. That doesn't work everywhere, but some places. I guess some other ideas we use. We are using the Everflow waters in our breeder hen pens where we winter our breeder hens. The pens we hold them over winter. I don't know. This is a water that's been designed to not freeze. It actually has a sweep and a thermostat here, and it will, when it gets to be 38 degrees or 36 degrees or whatever it is, the sweep will start running water, and it'll drain out over here. The problem we had with it, the guy that designed these lives in a real sandy environment, and he can get rid of all that excess water. Our ground is too tight. It's black clay, black gumbo. We can't get rid of the water. Plus, we're on city water, and they used a lot of water. So we tried putting a little tank heater in it, and it really worked good. That worked. We still have access to water. The water will still stay full in there, but we don't use near as much. And if this heater does freeze up, go out, whatever, we still have the backup system. Use the rat bait stations. We just make our own PVC. These are open. The varmint can go in. We're hanging poison down off of this string, hangs down in here. We fill them up maybe once, twice a year, and that'll take us through the year. We use the briar feeders we're using. We use the extension. Well, when they send them, they only have 3 support legs, and we found with the extension that wasn't enough. We have to go in, add another support. We take they come with the metal leveler, feed level thing in. We take that out, throw it away, because we pretty much set our height. We know what we want, so. We will, the lids on them will blow off in the wind, and we get a little wind in Kansas sometimes, so we can't see it, but we'll wrap a piece of wire around the inside of this handle, dump some cement in it, takes care of that problem. In wintertime, of course, we lower our nets. This pen, it looks like we've been able to get in the fall and get it farmed and get it ready for spring. We use gravity water in our brooder barns. We're not under pressure. It seemed like we had a lot of trouble, maybe it's my fault, but we had a lot of trouble with, not a lot of trouble, but we'd have trouble with flooding. And of course, the hose came off of the water the minute you walk out of the brooder barn. So the next time you go in, it's full. So we decided to use gravity. And if we do have a hose come off or something, we're only got 50 gallons of water in there at the most, or whatever's in there, and we can clean that up pretty quickly. The other thing, we very seldom medicate, but if we do have to medicate, we can medicate right there. We do add some Clorox in there. I don't know if this is going to pass the sanitation test, but it seems to work for what we're doing. So we use a gas incinerator. During the breeding season, of course, we lose our fair share of hens, and this is just our way of getting rid of them. We use, if you ever come to Tipton, Kansas, which is a town of about 200 people, in the summertime, you're going to see these things running all over town. So we use these a lot. And we also have a golf cart, some other stuff we use, but we can, we can pull our feed wagon around from brooder barn to brooder barn. We can use a trailer to move stuff. We use them all the time. And of course, this is what we're all looking for, we hope, empty pens. And that means it's time to take the grandson a little hunt. So we get to go pheasant hunting every once in a while. Sometimes we even get a few. And the dogs get to go chase them down. That's it.